by saying thank you, of course, because, of course, you have a show tonight. You're making time for us. I really appreciate that.
It's all right. 10 news stories will break between
I know.
this moment.
So, in a way, I'm doing you a favor, because if you were at work right now, you would be writing something that would already be old by the time you're on at 9.
Yes.
So I'm just giving you an hour off.
You know, I'm a disorganized person, and I have bad time management. And so I've always had this problem, ever since I started doing work like this, where I produce stuff that doesn't make it onto the show for whatever reason. Other stuff goes long, or I can't end an interview on time. I have no discipline. So there's always been some stuff I have to kick out. But now, every single day, the entire show, I throw away 2 hours before airtime and have to invent a whole new one. I feel like I should just come in at 8 o'clock before the 9 o'clock show and be like, hit me now. Hit me now. I'm just going to ad-lib the whole thing. I throw away a whole show every day.
It is nuts. This is an unprecedented time, and it has affected not only our show, not only your show, but it actually affected your sign-off the other night.
Oh, God. Yeah, you know, there are... Like, throughout the history of people doing news on television, there's been all these, like, really noble sign-offs. You know, courage. You know, good night and good luck.
Yes.
You know, like, people do, like, you know, there's been all these very serious ones, and people don't necessarily try them anymore. I have inadvertently developed one that I started doing without trying to. It started when I was talking about Steve Bannon, the White House strategist guy, you know, the Grim Reaper guy.
A million years ago, yeah.
He was in Congress, and he wasn't answering their questions because his lawyer was advising him not to. And his lawyer was advising him not to because he was on the phone with the White House, and the White House was saying, we don't want Steve answering those questions. Turns out Steve Bannon's lawyer is also the lawyer for the guy at the White House he was talking to.
So here's your new sign-off, which I think, I don't know, I think it's as good as all of them. Let's take a look.
Having somebody on those two different sides of this story, both represented by the same attorney, that's weird. That does it for us tonight.
That's weird. Good night.
That's weird. Good night. Yeah.
I'm sure you'll talk about this this evening. The memo. We talked a little bit about the memo. Do you think the release of this memo, which seems inevitable at this point, do you think it will escalate the investigation into Trump and Russia ties, if that's even possible? Or do you think the takeaway when we look back on this memo will be this was a degrading of our institutions, that someone in Congress would basically go after the Justice Department and the FBI like this?
Well, the memo isn't like something that's been revealed from the investigation. The memo is part of the Trump White House and the Trump supporters in Congress trying to make the investigation go away. So this is part of their defense against the investigation. And there was a guy who was a part of the Trump campaign. He was a foreign policy advisor to the campaign, and he had been caught up in a Russian spy ring in New York City in 2013, and like FBI counterintelligence had been involved in like breaking up the spy ring, and people went to prison, and it was for real. Then he turns up on the Trump campaign. In the middle of the Trump campaign, he goes to Russia and gives an anti-US, pro-Putin speech. It's so like, the counterintelligence folks are interested in this guy because they're supposed to monitor people who might be foreign agents in the United States. And they got warrants to surveil him starting during the campaign, and they got renewed a bunch of times, including into the Trump campaign. This whole memo thing is about trying to make it a scandal that it was renewed the most recent time it was renewed.
Yeah.
And that means there should be no investigation. It's like, no, dude, you had the guy with the Russian spies working on, and then going to Moscow and being like, I love Putin, I hate America. Like, of course the FBI is going to look into him.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to say that means there shouldn't be a Russia investigation. And it's been a very big distraction, which I think is effective. But I don't think it will change anything on Robert Mueller's to-do list.